Therapists who have clear specialization can charge more, have more clients, more aligned clients. And today we're going to talk about another profitable niche in therapy. It is a part of a series profitable niches for therapists. And today we're going to talk about diagnosis or condition based specialty as a therapist is going to be super good. You probably very close to your niche, closer than you think you are, and that can be a difference maker in your career, in your private practice. So the problem with niching down, especially for diagnosis specific therapists, is this: a lot of therapists can treat a lot of conditions really well. But unfortunately, a lot of therapists are not well specialized enough in one certain condition to the point that they can actually be an expert, the go to. And when we talk about conditions, we do have conditions that here recently on social media specifically, people start speaking out about, for example, ADHD, autism, OCD, and other different disorders. And people also start speaking out that they don't have the access that they desire, that they actually need therapists, psychologists, providers who can actually understand their diagnosis. So, here's the conflict. Here's the tension. So, how to navigate that? Well, for some of us, for some therapists, this specialization comes either because of our background or just naturally. In my case, if you don't know my story, I worked as a clinical psychologist in Moscow, Russia in the past, and my specialty was on the cusp of deaf studies and clinical psychology. I adopted a therapeutic method for deaf clients in talk therapy. I supported deaf clients in the variety of settings, from educational settings to private therapy. So, and that was my specialty. And it was what, like probably about 13 years ago. Yeah, 13 years ago. We didn't have any like internet, right? Or like even 15 years ago, we didn't have any social media as we have it today. And yet, I was so ingrained in the community that people just knew me. So, and now people, therapists, psychologists who have this specialty, they're operating this niche really, really well. For example, one psychologist that I absolutely admire, and she's such an amazing human being, is Dr. Tay. And she's a child psychologist, and she works with children with autism and families with autism. That is absolutely, absolutely genius niche. And more importantly, she is very knowledgeable on the topic, and she knows her patients. Other examples, therapists for ADHD clients specifically. And that is really essential because I'm a person with ADHD. I went to therapy, and not to bash anyone and not to drag anyone, but I did not receive a care from my therapist. I didn't feel like he understood my condition really well, like in a way that I can be provided a well care, like a really good care as a person with ADHD. So that is essential. Now you might be wondering, like, why do I have to choose the niche? Why do I have to choose that diagnosis? Well, to put it simply, you will serve your clients better when you know your area of expertise. If this is the niche that you decide to focus on, it's just going to be the area of your expertise, and you will work on your expertise. You will build even more expertise by working with a hyper focus, with a crystal clear focus on those clients. And that will provide better therapy, better dynamic, better experience for them and for you specifically when it comes to marketing. And it's so much easier to connect with doctors' offices, with local chambers, with local communities and say, hey, I'm a child psychologist who works with children with autism and I'm also supporting their families. Boom. Like less than 60 seconds versus like, well, I'm a therapist, I'm a licensed social worker, and I'm working with people who blah, blah, people stop listening. But when you say, hey, I work with people with ADHD, I work with Black women, and we talk about that in other episodes for niches. But when you say, hey, like I work with executives who are suffering from high functioning depression. So, like, for example, something like that. Or like whatever that diagnosis is. Same thing for your public content. If you choose content creation as your marketing vehicle, and I think you should, because I mean, not to ruffle any feathers, but look at Mel Robbins, look at Dear Gabby, look at Good Inside, right? And you're a mental health professional, and especially if you have unique expertise in a certain diagnosis or diagnoses, and you have that insight, and you know that there's so much bullshit out there, and you're not speaking up, that's on you. That's listen, that's on you. Also, also, let me know. By the way, let me know in either on the podcast or leave your review. Like, tell me what resonates with you, what topics you like, or if you are on YouTube, comment below if you notice in the same progression. If it is the same for you. Now, you might be wondering how, like, okay, like, how do I make the right move? How do I make the right decision? So, especially if you're not neurodivergent like myself, and like you can do therapy with deaf people, you can do therapy for gay men. You have unique specialty and unique knowledge to be a forensic psychologist, and you like teaching people, and those are wonderful niches. So, what do? I created a self-regulation tool. So it starts with self-regulation. Listen, I am not going to sugarcoat it and say, hey, the stuff that I talk about, the implementation details, right? That niche, the niche is important, the marketing, the showing up on social media, putting yourself out there. But you cannot execute if you're not operating from the place of the highest, absolutely higher self. And if your parts, protective parts, reactive parts, blocking the energy of self in a way that you spiraling into decisions, you don't think it's available for you, like those blockages inside, and those blockages inside, what how I like to look at them is the parts of you, that are activated. And when you work with your parts, and when you bring more energy of self to your business, and which is like really important, and this is the real like business magic coaching happens when you work with somebody who can help you to bring forward that energy of self so we can work strategically and make a decision. I created recordings like hypnosis recordings to start for you to start bringing that energy of self right here, right now. There are three of them, and one of them is unblocking yourself to make a decision from the higher self, from the energy of self, from self leadership. So it is in the description. Now, it starts with self, 100%. But when you make a decision, it feels good. Like it really feels good, and it's really a lot easier than you think. So you don't have to cover a lot of therapeutic modalities, or you don't have to cover all of the things or all of the condition on like, well, like this, I work with all kinds of different clients. You can actually help people. And actually, we don't have specialists, okay? We don't have enough specialists who know autism well. I think there's such a big gap in autism space. Like, seriously, ADHD, same thing. OCD, same thing. We have therapists who are very well versed to work with people and can provide really good progress. But boy, oh boy, we don't have therapists who can really do that. And when you own your niche, when you own your lane, just like that, listen, your marketing is going to be so much easier, and it's going to be so much better. Person who knows, first of all, person who is deeply familiar with running like mental health, private practice, healing practice. I have that experience. In Moscow, Russia, I work in public sectors. I know therapists who run successful private practices. And also, I built my business. So, like, trust me when it comes to messaging and marketing, positioning, finding other channels. I would like to help therapists to do so. Before that, I was working with a lot of consultants, experts, and help them to bring that visibility to their business through a variety of channels. For some, it's social media, but to be honest with you, it's never just about social media. Social media is not going to bring you enough clients that you can like. It's either through your podcast, it's either through speaking engagements, it's either through collaboration with your community. You got to be smart with marketing, and this is where the energy of self comes in. This is where you got to know yourself, the way you market, you show up, and also have a consultant, a strategist by your side who knows your business, who knows mental health well, and who can be that trusted advisor for you. I work with about like 2 or 3 therapists per quarter, and it's $3,000 and so affordable too, because I want therapists to do it right. I want therapists, somebody for them that somebody was in their corner, and it's one-on-one, and it is personalized experiences for life. So the way you can enroll, you can send me a DM on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we will chat. And if needed, schedule consultation call or decide in the DMs. Again, it's $3,000. And again, they're like the reason why I'm doing it so accessible and so available, so more therapists can make better businesses. Again, this is deeply personal for me. And if I could do something like that for other consultants, and by the way, when I was working with consultants, I was charging about like 45, close to $5,000 for therapists. Like I would like to easy entry. Like this is a mission work that is deeply personal for me. So send me a DM on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Let's connect. Tell me about what's going on in your private practice, and we can figure out from there. Even if the whole program is not the right fit for you, like we can do assessment, right? We can do evaluation and audit of your private practice. So we can, if not, if not solve like majority of your problems, at least figure out what would be the focus. So, and if that is something that you would like to consider, like hit me up, let me know. So again, like the process is very simple. You just send me the, again, this is a personal work, and I would like to speak with you personally. All right. So now share with me your specialty, connect with me on social media, and say hi, share with me what resonated with you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And that is a profitable niches for therapists. Stay tuned. I will be posting more niches about profitable niches for psychotherapists in future episodes and live streams.